Sakam Nipayacha Namokshega Homisti Namodareha Sakam Nipayacha Namaste Sudamne Suradipti Damne Tadiyo Darayata Visrasya Damne Namo Radhikaya Tvariya Priyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhya Namo Radhikaya Tvariya Priyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhya Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Shri Radhe To the Supreme Controller, who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening earrings swing to and fro, who manifested himself in Gokul, who stole the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, and who then quickly jumped up and ran in retreat in fear of Mother Yashoda, but was ultimately caught. To that Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances.
At this whipping stick, he cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes were fearful and his breathing quick, and as Mother Yasoda bound his belly with ropes, he shivered in fright and his pearl necklace shook. To this Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, who is bound with his devotees' love, I offer my humble obeisances.
Those super excellent pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna's babyhood drowned the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy. To the devotees who are attracted only to his majestic aspects of Narayana in Vaikuntha, the Lord Heron reveals, I am conquered and overwhelmed by pure loving devotion. To the Supreme Lord Damodar, my obeisances hundreds and hundreds of times.
O Lord, also you are able to give all kinds of benedictions. I do not pray to you for liberation, nor eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon. My only prayer is that your childhood pastimes may constantly appear in my mind. O Lord, I do not even want to know your future as Paramatma. I simply wish that your childhood pastimes may ever be enacted in my heart.
O Lord, the cheeks of your blackish lotus face, which is encircled by locks of curling hair, have become reddened like bimba fruit, due to Mother Yashoda's kisses. What more can I ascribe than this? Millions of opulences are of no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind.
O unlimited Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be pleased upon me. I'm drowning in an ocean of sorrow and am almost like a dead man. Please shower the rain of mercy on me, uplift me, and protect me with your nectarian vision.
O Lord Damodar, in your form as a baby, Mother Yashoda bound you to a grinding stone with rope for tying cows. You then freed the sons of Kuvera, Manigriva and Nalakuvara, who were cursed to stand as trees, and you gave them the chance to become your devotees. Please bless me in the same way. I have no desire for liberation until your effulgence.
O Lord, the entire universe was created by Lord Brahma, who was born from your abdomen, which was bound with rope by Mother Yashoda. To this rope I offer my humble obeisances. I offer my obeisances to your most beloved Radharani and to your unlimited pastimes.
Thank you, Lord. Oh, I got one. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari. Jaya Jashodanandana, Jaya Braja Janaranjana, Jaya Braja Janaranjana. Jaya Jashodanandana, Jaya Braja Janaranjana, Jaya Braja Janaranjana. Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari, Jaya Kunja Vihari. Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari, Jaya Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari. Jashodanandana, Jaya Braja Janaranjana, Jaya Braja Janaranjana. Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari, Jaya Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajagacharya Ashtotara Shatashishimad, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajagacharya Ashtotara Shatashishimad, His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki. Prince Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindaki Shishi Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radhakunda Girigabardhana Ki Grantara Shrimad Bhagavatam Ki Dai Gaura Premanandi. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees, oh, glories to the assembled devotees, oh, glories to the assembled devotees, oh, glories to Shishiguru and Shigauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Withdrawal of the Cosmic Creation, Chapter 12, The Mohini Murti Incarnation Bewilders Lord Shiva, text number 15. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Kautuhala Jadaityanam Yoshit Vesho Mayadritha Pashyata Shura Karyani Gate Pijushabhajane Kautahala Jadaityanam Yoshit Vesho Mayadritaha Pashyata Shura Karyani Gate Pijushabhajane Kautuhala Jadaityanam Yoshit Vesho Mayadritaha Pashyata Sura Karyani Gate Pijushabhajane. Please chant. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Pataladayatayanam Joshit Vesho Mayadritaha Pashyata Shurakaryani Gatapi Yushabhajane Sri Bhagavan Vacha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Kautuhalaya, for the bewildering, Daityanam, of the demons, Yoshit Veshaha, the form of a beautiful woman, Maya, by me, Dritaha, assume, Pashyata, sin that is necessary for me, Shurakaryani, for executing the interests of the demigods, Gate, having been taken away, Piyushabhajane, the jug of nectar. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of God had said, when the demons took away the jug of nectar, I assumed the form of a beautiful woman to bewilder them by directly cheating them and thus act in the interest of the demigods. Purport. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead assumed the form of the beautiful woman, Mohini Murti, the demons were certainly captivated, but the demigods present were not. In other words, those who maintain a demoniac mentality are bewildered by the beauty of a woman. But those who are advanced in Krishna consciousness, or even those on the platform of goodness, are not bewildered. The Supreme Personality of Godhead knew that because Lord Shiva is not an ordinary person, he cannot be bewildered even by the most beautiful woman. Cupid himself tried to invoke Lord Shiva's lusty desires in the presence of Parvati, but Lord Shiva was never agitated. Rather, the blazing fire for Lord Shiva's eye turned Cupid to ashes. Therefore, Lord Vishnu has to think twice about what kind of beautiful form will bewilder even Lord Shiva. Consequently, he was smiling gravely. As stated in the previous verse, Prahasya Bhava Gambhiram. A beautiful woman generally cannot induce Lord Shiva to be lusty, but Lord Vishnu was considering whether there was any form of a woman who could enchant him. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Kautu Haladya Daityanam Yoshit Vesho Mayadritha Pashyata Shurakaryani Gate Pi Yushabhajane. The Supreme Personality of God has said, when the demons took away the jug of nectar, I assumed the form of a beautiful woman to bewilder them by directly cheating them and thus act in the interest of the demigods. Om Agyana Timirandasya Jananjana Salakaya Chakshur Ummilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurube Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirveshesha Shunyavadi Pashatyade Satarine Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyasha Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namah. So a very important point to understand is what do we mean, or what is Prabhupada means by being bewildered. Bewildered by the beauty of a woman. So, situation of the Lord appearing as Mohini Murti for the specific purpose that these demons that were in past tense of the churning of the ocean of milk to obtain the nectar of immortality, they were pretty advanced materially. I mean, this was it was powerful demons, very, very advanced, and headed by Bali Maharaj, who was extremely powerful. And this is the dynasty that came from Hiranyakashipu. And so, not ordinary, ignorant, fellows type, but these are very advanced materially, asuras, demons. So, the Lord assumed a form that was able to completely bewilder them. So, he was able to bewilder them, but not the demigods. The demigods who were present, they were not bewildered. So, to understand what is this bewilderment, because the way I understand it is not that one doesn't become attracted or attraction is there, but bewilderment is when you lose a sense of discrimination. Bewilderment, usually you become confused and you take something, you don't see clearly something for what it is, and you make act, in a very erratic or out of control way, or something out of the ordinary. You become bewildered. That's why I understand. And so in the case of Mohini Murti, when Mohini Murti manifests, if you recall in the narration of the appearance of Mohini Murti, when she first appeared, both the demigods as well as the demons were attracted. It was a very attractive form. The demons became bewildered. And when they became bewildered, the whole exchange is actually, it was actually sort of funny, because it was like, wow, be amused. You get amused when you were hearing the narration, because even sounds very silly. Like really, the guys, they were, these are big, powerful demons, warriors, and chivalrous, how do you say that word, chivalrous? And they were just engaged in battle with the demigods. They were just, fighting and competing intensely. I mean, this is intense competition. Like when you have, sports. I mean, people get really so recently we just heard the news that, the Chicago Cubs, they became champions of the world. So, people are really pumped up in Chicago. So, it's a very intense competition. And so you have all this focus on achieving this great thing. And they did, after their whole calculation. And you can imagine how calculated they were, that as all these goods were coming, they were, keep the focus, guys, The nectar is going to come. When the nectar comes, they had the plan. When the nectar comes, you snatch it. Don't waste time. Don't get, like all the things, keep the focus. The focus is the nectar. The other things, they're really attractive, but the nectar was the thing. So the cow comes, nectar, keep the focus, So, all the things were coming there. The apsaras, good-looking girls, but the nectar, Not even the apsaras were able to bewilder him. And the apsaras are, they're not ordinary living entities. The apsaras usually, Lord Indra sent them to bewilder the sages. The demons were so focused that, the apsaras came out of the ocean, the churning, and it doesn't mention that, they got all like, bewildered and silly and stupid like that. So they were very focused. So the scenario is that it was such an intense focus, such an intense competition, such an intense desire to achieve that nectar. And indeed, when Lord Dhanvantari came up with the nectar, in no time they came out and snatched it out of the hands of the Lord. Like, they didn't have, and there was no protocol in there, not like Hare Krishna, Namaskar, can I take? No, they just went and snatched it by force. And so, we can picture it. And for them to just go like, that's the conception of bewilderment, that they just go like, here. It's like you can imagine how silly it becomes, or how they lose complete sense of reality, just like completely enchanted or bewildered by this manifestation. The manifestation of the Mohini Murti. So it was, it's explained that this manifestation of Mohini Murti is a supreme manifestation of this attracted feature of the material energy. And then it takes a form of a woman, but this is a supreme manifestation. So, that was in a very supreme, manifestation, or like the whole exchange was in that, level. So it took that level to be able to fully confuse and bewilder these powerful demons. So how the principle of bewilderment, okay, so in that level, in that supreme level, but the principle applies in all levels. For those who are not as powerful as these demons, there's still the principle of the attraction. And in this case, we're speaking about the attraction between a man to a woman. Then it becomes, the whole thing becomes bewildering. And we have the cases, so many cases. Like in the news also, there is the expressions of bewilderment of just some time ago, I think I was mentioning in some class some time ago, this powerful criminal that was caught because he couldn't control himself, and he came out of his hidden spot just because he wanted to meet this woman. His man, it was El Chapo something, El Chapo Gonzalez or Chapo something. El Chapo. El Chapo. El Chapo. So this guy was the ultimate mafioso drug leader. He was controlling the biggest drug smuggling, enterprise in Mexico. The guy was very powerful, very vicious, and very clever. So apparently, it was extremely difficult to capture him. And after so much endeavor, they finally captured him. And he was so together, in no time, he escaped this huge prison. He just, someone dig a tunnel for him and he just escaped. And nowhere to find him. Then again, after so much endeavor, they capture him and put him in a much more difficult, jail. And the guy escaped again, somehow or other. He escaped 3 times of 3 different jails. So this is a very clever, together guy. Very difficult to capture him and to keep him, locked. And he was then after that able to keep hidden somewhere in some, was impossible to get him until they found some actress that started to communicate with the fellow, and he became so bewildered by the beauty of this actress that the man just couldn't resist. He just came out of his hidden spot to meet her. And then, boom, finally they captured, and now they brought it here to the US, and then he's finished. So that's what this attraction does for people who are of demoniac mentality. They become bewildered and they completely lost a sense of discrimination. Even things that are they're so expert at get dismantled. So the beauty of a woman for a man of demoniac mentality, it completely, they completely lose the sense of discrimination. And then they act in such a way that is completely against their interests. There's nothing good that comes out of it. It's hurtful for themselves, it's hurtful for the woman, it's hurtful for society, it's a mess. And so that's what the demoniac mentality does. When a person basically loses the sense of discrimination in this exchange or this contact, then you can understand that there is a demoniac mentality. Now, for the demigods, it didn't happen. And although when the Mohini Murti enters the demigods, also the narration explains that they were attractive. They immediately became very attractive. Because that is the nature. So, but they were not bewildered. And Prabhupada explains, see, if there's 2 persons that are not bewildered, the pure devotees, they're not bewildered, but even those people who are in the mood of goodness, or who are, Prabhupada saying, the platform of goodness, they're not bewildered. In the case of the pure devotees they have no attraction. There's no attraction to enjoy, because the pure devotee is perfectly situated. So in our original position as spirit souls, both the male and female forms are just manifestation of this material world in terms of, from the perspective of the conditioned souls, then we take this conception, I'm a woman, and then I try to act accordingly. From the spirit soul, we both that for the spirit soul, for the living entity, then there is not such a thing. We are energies of God, so we are Prakriti, both of a female nature. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Purusha, and his energies are Prakriti, to be enjoyed. So we are to be enjoyed by the Personality of Godhead. That's the position of the living entity. So the pure devotee is perfectly situated that, and he understands everything is for the pleasure of the Lord. So there's no misunderstanding. So the pure devotee doesn't see, the world from the perspective of I want to enjoy this. But they see that everything is to be enjoyed by Krishna. So there's not a problem there. But when we're not in the platform of pure devotional service, then we get caught in this conception that if you have a male body, the male body takes this psyche of I'm a Purusha. So the natural thing is that, I want to enjoy. And the female body is Prakriti. And then the natural thing of the man is that the man sees, I want to enjoy. There's a beautiful woman, I can't resist myself. I'm attractive. And then if you are demoniac mentality, then you lose a sense of discrimination. Like also in the news, there's this fellow called what's the name of Trump? Donald Trump. This fellow. Yeah. There's this fellow called Donald Trump that apparently he was some few years ago was in some making some TV program, and then off the stage he was just talking with this other guy, and he started to boast about his progress with progress with woman. So then like demoniac men, they see a beautiful woman and they start to whoa, look at that one, yeah, like blah, blah, like that boasting, I mean, it's almost like you see the pigeons, you ever seen the pigeons, doing the courting to the female pigeon? They go like puff, and they go like blah, 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 and they start to move around, and they start to make all kinds of noises and puff themselves, and then the female pigeon is just like picking things, like trying to ignore the fellow, and the guy just goes. So demoniac guys, they go into this thing. Oh yeah, they start to say. So this Donald Trump with the other demoniac fellow, he started to say without noticing that he had a live microphone and he's being recorded. I mean, this is a public figure. This is a millionaire that is a public figure, that he has big responsibilities, being a wealthy person, one of the wealthy persons of this country, that owns so many things and is the leader of so many things. So you're a public figure. And they become so idiotic and bewildered that they lose discrimination. So you know that when you are a leader, you have to be very conscientious that, that things that you say, how you act, that all things get noticed. It doesn't go, like that. And you think, you're trying to hide, those things, but there's a person that he was exchanging. There was other persons in there, and none of the things, will go unnoticed. But they lose discrimination. So this fellow, Donald Trump, he started to say, "Oh, yeah, look at that one." They were looking at this beautiful woman, and he said, "Yeah, they're so beautiful. I completely lose it when I see beautiful women. I start to kiss them and kiss them and kiss them." And then he started to say all kinds of gross, really gross things. That now basically is, because it was recorded, then it got put in the public now, and then when the people heard what he said, then they started to drop him. Women in the country became very upset, so no woman wants to vote for him, and their own Republican Party, the Republicans are supposed to be, very righteous persons, religious and like that. Some of them say, "No, we don't want anything to do with this guy." So anyway, these things happens. You have the act in this condition that this is for me to enjoy. So the pure devotee doesn't have that conception. No conception that this is for me to enjoy, this is for Krishna to enjoy. Now, the person in the mode of goodness, the attraction is there, because the person in the mode of goodness is not necessarily, or is not fully realized of his position as a spirit soul, necessarily. Sorry. So, don't have that full realization necessarily. And if he doesn't have that realization, it means that you're still recognizing yourself with the body in the mode of goodness. However, the mode of goodness, what it does is that you don't lose the sense of discrimination. You don't become bewildered. By knowledge, by transcendental knowledge, you're able to discriminate. So although the attraction is there, you don't act, because you see, no, that is irreligious. You act correctly. You act according to religious principles. So that was the position of the demigods. The demigods don't deviate from religious principles, and in this case, although we have seen, there's no Prabhupada said that even in the highway, even in the royal road, there's still dangers. So sometimes we hear narrations in the scriptures of demigods becoming bewildered and doing, losing the sense of discrimination. We see in several cases of Lord Indra that he loses the sense of discrimination and gets himself into trouble. So the mode of goodness is what allows to be able to function in a religious way. So therefore, for us, and that's how you can explain how practicing sadhakas, preachers, when we go out and we have to deal with the opposite sex, then as long as you strongly situated in sadhana and strongly situated in performing devotional service, you're protected because you act correctly. Attraction may be there, but you act correctly. You do the proper discrimination. But if you start to sort of lack or ease on the practices of sadhana, then you can be victimized. Because the less you're less you're situated in the platform of goodness, and you put yourself or expose yourself to the lower modes of nature, then you can be victimized. Because the attraction is still there. The protection for us who still have this bodily conception of life and still may be attracted, but they're still conditioned by the attraction to enjoy material nature, then if we don't maintain ourselves in the mode of goodness, then no doubt we become victimized. So that's the importance. Any comments or questions? Back to Jordan, Prabhu.
I'm wondering if you can explain a little bit more how mode of goodness looks like directly relating with devotional service, because oftentimes we hear it, like in the Bhagavad Gita, speaking about it just in terms of mode of goodness by itself, but in terms of like directly applying mode of goodness within our program and within devotional service.
Yeah, Prabhupada said that even to be considered a human, one have to come to the mode of goodness. Because the natural position of a human being is that you're able to understand and follow and live under the principles of religion, which it has been given by God, by Krishna. So there is no way of practicing properly devotional service progressively without cultivating the mode of goodness. So when devotional service is mixed with passion and ignorance, then there's no progress. Devotional service is there, Krishna takes that, but in terms of you being able to overcome the very strong attachments and conditions, anarthas that are there in the heart, it just won't happen. And then, therefore, we can go on for millions and millions of births, even performing some devotional service and not being able to achieve the desired result. No. Yeah, but I was saying the verse that, even after chanting the holy name for many, many births, will not get the love for Godhead, which is the ultimate goal, is chanting, a type of thing. So, the cultivation of the mode of goodness, along with the practices of devotional service, is important. Prabhupada was mentioning yesterday in the video, when he was in his bed, he was saying, therefore, we want to train this, Brahminical culture, that they're very clean and proper, like that. So we've been trained in the Brahminical culture because the Brahminical culture is a culture of the mother goodness. And then, right there, we can advance. Otherwise, there's no chance. So one may say, okay, but what happens, when you come in, you're still affected by the modes of passion and ignorance. But the idea is when you're engaged and being trained, the training that we're receiving is to elevate ourselves to the mother goodness. And when we are in the mother goodness, when we finally reach the mother goodness, then, like real realization and progress will happen. That's Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti said, now the nectar begins. When we are affected by the other modes of nature, that's when we are, in this like awkward situation. It's like almost tossing here and there. It's this tug war between, our material tendencies and our spiritual desires. Sometimes it's like a Ferris wheel or like a, roller coaster, up and down like that. So it's very awkward. So immortal goodness is for spiritual progress and for coming to Krishna consciousness is compulsory. Is that right?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for your class. And thank you for your modern day examples such as the Cubs and Donald Trump. And I'm serious because I appreciate those examples because for newcomers and for Westerners who grew up on pop culture, that'll give us more, enthusiasm than like Madhvacharya, not in an offensive way, but so I have a comment and a question. Usually this verse says if you're of a demoniac mentality, then you're going to be attracted by a beautiful form of women. And I think men usually get a bad reputation as the only ones who want to exploit women. I think men also have heavy duty artillery women want to use too. So everyone's of a demoniac mentality in this material world. So sometimes, men get a bad reputation, but everyone's a prisoner in this material world. So everyone has probably thoughts like Donald Trump. They just don't say it. Just like Maharaj was mentioning the other day, does anybody want to know what's in your mind? And obviously the question is no. So Krishna gives us like some mystic diary, which is our mind. So my question is kind of related to the point of what Lord Chaitanya says, Nadanam, Najanam, Nasundaram, etc. Only bhakti will give you happiness, neither women, neither money, neither followers. And that sounds nice and theoretical for ourselves. And then there's also another verse that says, Krishna nam mahamantreda eta swabhava, yejape tada Krishna upajaya bhava. That only this mahamantra, chanting this mahamantra will awaken your ecstasy for Krishna. Now, when we're going downtown Chicago to preach this philosophy, let's say there's a Cubs parade today, and I was telling Mitch that you guys could go, preach downtown Chicago because there's going to be a lot of people, Cubs fans. Now, when we're preaching downtown Chicago and we tell a Cubs fan, this, Maha Mantra, it'll give you more ecstasy than your girlfriend or the Cubs win. Now, obviously they'll get on my face. Now, for us as practicing devotees, a lot of times people leave the movement because they don't have faith in this principle. Like, wow, this Maha Mantra giving more ecstasy, but when we associate with the material world, the desires come up, the senses get aroused. So as practicing devotees, how do we maintain our faith in this principle that actually chanting this Maha Mantra will give us more ecstasy than anything in the material world? Because it's hard to maintain that faith without having my question is without some calamity coming. Naturally, when you have some calamity coming, then you only have hope. The only hope you have is Krishna consciousness. But as far as practicing devotees, when we don't feel the influence of calamities coming, how do we maintain our faith? So that's essentially my question. Without these
by association, that's the classic answer. Associating with those who have faith. And for us, that it's not that we're experiencing at least many of us, not, I won't say us, but many of us are not experience ecstasy while chanting the holy name. Rather, Durvdaivan Idrisani Hajani. I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction for the holy name, obviously. So why we chant? Well, we chant because we have received transcendental knowledge. So we know that is a medicine, is a means. And well, how do you know? Well, we understand how it's working. Because, I'm actually changing, and it's something that you can measure. You can measure. I'm not cured, but I have the experience of progressing. And we all have that experience. That's why you receive transcendental knowledge. You receive the seed of devotional service. And then now you start to experience, the cleansing of material desires. And so we have faith because we're experiencing. I mean, Krishna says that in what is it? Pratyaksha Bhagavan Dharmyam. That there is a direct experience of, and therefore this bhakti is the essence of all religion, because you can experience it. So what to say to the people, the pumped up cup fans, is you may not necessarily say, hey, this will give you more ecstasy that, the ecstasy that you're having right now, that after whatever, 200 years, you're able to be champion, But rather, this is, we don't necessarily have to all people tell the glories of the holy name, but you can tell people about certain things that will help them. Sometimes I think Vaisheshika Prabhu, sometimes he says, in terms of how to be more peaceful, less stress, how to deal with, the natural conflicts that are there in the world, Right now, you're forgetting for a day all the miseries of the world because you're just focusing on this achievement that the city now is champion, but then that doesn't change reality. That you still have to, you don't have to how to pay your bills and this and that, that whole thing. So for a moment you forget. And there's a moment of ecstasy, but that moment of ecstasy is just a little moment. The next day you have to face reality again. So that's the world. And, that's what we say, that, that we're trying to revive our spiritual nature. So from that, you approach it from that perspective. And our faith is that it has changed our life. It has changed the way we see the world. It has changed, the understanding of where we should go. And when we look back, it's surprising how much I've done for you. Imagine without Krishna consciousness, sometimes you think like this. If I didn't have this contact with Krishna consciousness, I wonder what my life would be right now. And choose. I can say for myself, this thing saved my life. So, So we can see that we have that faith. All right. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.